Picture yourself arriving at an upscale, luxurious hotel, the perfect setting for a weekend filled with relaxation, laughter, and unforgettable family memories. You anticipate days spent lounging by the pool, enjoying delicious meals, and exploring the charming surroundings. Yet, within mere hours, that idyllic vision is shattered by a reality far darker than you could have imagined. A child from your family suddenly goes missing, triggering frantic searches that stretch from minutes into agonizing hours. Panic grips you tighter with each passing moment as hope fades and despair grows. The serene atmosphere of the hotel quickly transforms into chaos, confusion, and fear. Just when the situation seems unbearable, tragedy strikes. Your worst fears are realized as the unthinkable unfolds in front of you. Horrifyingly, you learn this heart-wrenching tragedy isn't unique or new. The hotel has a chilling history of similar mysterious events, dark secrets carefully buried beneath its luxurious exterior. The Doubleday International Hotel in Tuschen, Guyana, is a place where dreams turn to nightmares, hiding shocking truths beneath a glamorous facade. On April 23, 2025, 11-year-old Adrianna Younge went with her family to the upscale Doubleday International Hotel. The joyous day quickly turned frantic when Adrianna vanished without a trace. Panic set in as her family desperately searched every corner, assisted by hotel staff and local authorities. Hours passed with no sign of the child. Adding to the chaos, the police initially reported misleading surveillance footage, falsely claiming Adrianna left in a red and black Toyota Round. This misinformation deepened the family's anguish, casting doubt on the police's intent and reliability.
My niece's daughter died, the mother shaking in here. I want some justice, man. I need some justice.
So everything, I jump in the pool and I look at my daughter. I want to pick up my baby. I took up my baby and pull my baby to the fucking edge. My baby hard. I'm burning my baby. It have been bad. I don't have a picture doggy, but I know.
The Doubleday Hotel is on fire.
After nearly 20 hours of exhaustive and emotionally draining searches involving family members, hotel staff, local authorities, and even concerned residents from the community, Adrianna's lifeless body emerged in the hotel's swimming pool, a location that had previously been searched multiple times, leaving many questioning the credibility and diligence of the initial efforts. The condition of her body was deeply disturbing and pointed strongly toward foul play. Adrianna had sustained visible, significant injuries, bruises and abrasions covering her face, deep scratches and contusions marking her hands and knees, suggesting she had endured a fierce struggle or attack. Even more perplexing and alarming was the inexplicable presence of cotton wool stuffed firmly into her nostrils, suggesting an attempt at obscuring evidence or hiding the true nature of her demise. The grim discovery sent waves of horror through the hotel grounds, deeply traumatizing her already heartbroken family and intensifying scrutiny of the investigation's integrity. Questions surged through the community. Why were crucial details overlooked initially? Was the earlier search thorough, or was there deliberate negligence? Each unanswered question added fuel to the community's growing mistrust and anguish. The Tuschen community, already strained by a long and painful history of mistrust towards the police and powerful business interests, erupted in an uncontrollable fury following Adrianna's tragic death. Years of bottled-up frustration, suspicion, and simmering anger spilled out into the streets. Villagers, devastated and enraged by what they saw as blatant negligence and possible collusion, organized rapidly, their grief fueling a movement of resistance. They marched toward the Doubleday International Hotel and, in a spontaneous and symbolic act of defiance, set fire to both the hotel itself and the private residence of its owner, Bojnauth Bola. The flames that engulfed the buildings were not just a cry for justice for Adrianna, they were an outpouring of accumulated rage against a system that had failed them time and time again. Protests quickly spread beyond Tuschen, igniting outrage across the broader region. Communities that had long felt marginalized and ignored by the justice system now found a rallying cause. Placards demanding justice for Adrianna and end police corruption filled the streets. Calls for sweeping reform grew louder by the hour. What started as grief morphed into a larger, defiant movement aimed at confronting systemic injustice head-on, ensuring that Adrianna's name would not be forgotten and that meaningful accountability would finally be demanded from those in power.
The police force is totally corrupt from day one since you came into office. We don't need you anymore. Get out. Simple as that. I'm chasing you. I have the right to chase you. I'm a citizen of this country.
Somebody got to hold accountable from the police right down, bro, with all due respect. People may vex with me, but that is common sense, bro. And everybody got to stand here, arm in arm, because it could happen to anybody, child.
And the question I want to ask the president of Guyana is how many more? I'm asking this question because we have seen time and time the Guyana police force have failed a nation. With regards to this incident, they misled the entire nation last night.
Adrianna's tragic end echoed a hauntingly similar and deeply unsettling incident from 2012 involving a 20-year-old mechanic named Sadiq Juman. Juman was discovered dead in the same hotel pool under suspicious circumstances after reportedly being beaten unconscious. Witnesses at the time claimed to have seen Juman involved in a heated altercation with hotel staff shortly before he disappeared, and the physical evidence, including extensive bruising and signs of blunt force trauma, strongly indicated foul play. Despite what many in the community considered overwhelming evidence, the case against Bojnath Pola's son and a hotel employee was mysteriously dismissed by a local magistrate. Rumors of behind-the-scenes interference and bribery quickly spread, further eroding public trust in the justice system. This earlier unresolved tragedy sowed deep seeds of suspicion and resentment within the Tuschen community. It created a lasting narrative that the wealthy and powerful could manipulate the system to their advantage, while ordinary citizens seeking justice were systematically ignored and betrayed. When Adrianna's death occurred over a decade later under eerily similar circumstances, it was not seen as an isolated tragedy, but as part of a disturbing ongoing pattern of impunity and systemic corruption that had been allowed to fester unchecked for years. Both cases highlight alarming deficiencies and suspicious activities within the Guyanese police force, unveiling a troubling narrative of incompetence and possible corruption at various levels of the law enforcement hierarchy. In Adrianna's case specifically, authorities shockingly provided misleading and entirely fabricated information, claiming to have surveillance footage clearly showing her leaving the premises in a red and black Toyota Raum, a claim later proven to be false. This blatant misinformation not only severely compromised the integrity of the investigation, but also inflicted additional emotional trauma on the already devastated family. Local residents vehemently accused certain police officials of being complicit, either directly or indirectly, in obstructing justice by attempting to shield influential or wealthy individuals from being held accountable.
First time on social media.
We want justice! We want justice! We want justice for our children! Oh, we calling upon God!
Stories of tampered evidence, deliberate delays in investigative processes, and strategic leaks of false or misleading information have fueled a growing distrust among citizens who increasingly view the police force as part of the problem rather than the solution. Such alleged corruption is not merely an isolated issue confined to these tragic incidents, but rather indicative of broader, deeply entrenched systemic failures. Reports and complaints from past years consistently highlight similar patterns of negligence and corruption, eroding public confidence and creating an environment where justice seems selectively applied and the powerful remain seemingly untouchable. These systemic issues urgently demand comprehensive reform and transparency within local law enforcement to rebuild trust and ensure justice genuinely prevails. Amid the public uproar, Adrianna's family insisted on an independent investigation. Responding to mounting public pressure, President Irfan Ali pledged transparency, commissioning a renowned Barbadian forensic pathologist, Dr. Shubhakar Karapal, to perform the autopsy. The family's insistence on independent oversight underscores their mistrust in local authorities and their desperate hope for unbiased, truthful findings. Despite a wave of official reassurances and public statements promising transparency, deep skepticism continues to permeate the Tuschen community. A skepticism forged by years of unaddressed grievances and historical injustice. Residents, haunted by past betrayals, fear that without relentless pressure and constant vigilance, this tragedy will be quietly swept under the rug and true justice will once again elude them. Their fear is not irrational. It is grounded in decades of systemic failures that have repeatedly favored the wealthy and powerful over the vulnerable and voiceless. In response, the people of Tuschen have galvanized themselves into action, refusing to let Adrianna Younge's death become just another forgotten case. Night after night, they hold emotional vigils, their candle flames burning as symbols of both mourning and unyielding defiance. Community meetings overflow with passionate debates and strategic discussions on how best to sustain the fight for genuine accountability. Activists, religious leaders, and grieving families have joined forces, determined to shine an unrelenting spotlight on the injustice and demand sweeping reforms in the justice system. Their message is clear: they will not be silenced, and they will not rest until meaningful change is realized. The devastating stories of Adrianna Younge and Sadiq Juman starkly illustrate profound failures in the Guyanese justice system and expose troubling accusations of police corruption. Until thorough, impartial investigations are completed and concrete changes enacted, the community's fight for justice and accountability continues, driven by unwavering hope and resilience.